Today we'll talk about some challenging behaviors on the kids side, and we'll see how we can maintain positive parenting during such times. So as always, we'll start off the class with a live meditation, a guided meditation. So please join me in this meditation. It's time to go inwards and be in deep silence. So let's deepen our breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. With authority, guide your mind to withdraw itself from all the heavy work it has been doing. Dear mind, everything can wait for a few minutes while I, the master, chooses to go inwards and be in my own beautiful company. In our lifetime, we've come across many storms, tiny, big, bigger, and maybe really turbulent. And it's in the time of storms, they say, you come to know your real friends and real enemies. It's a test paper thrown by life at us. If I am well prepared, then I pass the paper with flying colors. In fact, I will have no fear during the storm or the test paper because I have already prepared well. But But if I have not prepared myself, then I'll be extremely fearful, confused when the storm hits my ship of life. And the more I worry about the storm, think about how will I manage, how will I come out of it, what will happen to me, what will happen to my family. The turbulent water will fill my ship. So when the mind creates many doubtful questions, it becomes heavy. It's almost like taking the water and filling the ship up. This will cause the ship to sink. I need clarity. I need calmness. I need inner strength to face the storms of life, which come in everyone's life at one point or the other. There is no doubt that everyone has to face the storms. When we look at our life with just the physical eyes, then we might start comparing with others and wonder why the storms come only our way. What have we done to deserve such adverse situations? But when we use our third eye, the eye of wisdom, the spiritual eye, we can see clearly the past has brought the current, present, filled with adverse situations. And the way I handle the present will invite my future. At every moment, I'm writing my own destiny. I'm a powerful being, the one who writes, creates its own destiny. God gives us a divine vision and a divine intellect. I use my eyes, my divine eyes, to see my real self, who's the child of God, is the Master Almighty Authority, who is eternal and imperishable. And I use the intellect, the divine intellect, to think as a knower of three aspects of time, Trikaladarshi. Before I make any decision, and move forward. When I handle the present gracefully, with inner stability and strength, without any questions of why, how, and when, then I settle my past peacefully, and I welcome a bright, beautiful future for myself. I'm an extraordinary soul with the highest potential to be like God, fearless, egoless, and selfless. Thank you, dear God, for guiding the boat of my life in the right direction and showing me the path to a bright and beautiful future. I could have never done it without you. Welcome, everyone, once again to Positive Parenting During Adverse Situations. So today, some of you had requested to talk about few different challenging behaviors with kids. So we'll spend some time today on that. Last week, we talked about how parenting becomes very difficult when two parents have a lot of conflicts among each other. And some of those conflicts also end up in parents separating and then, raising a child as a single parent or co parenting, which really becomes quite challenging unless we are spiritually strong. There is really no other way to handle everything. It's very easy to get lost in the past or be caught up in what we don't have and really continue to invite troubling future, not only for ourselves but unknowingly even for our kids. So a lot of clarity in mind is needed, lot of stability in mind is needed in order to remain strong during challenging situations. So we talked about how these ingredients, which is atal vishwas, unshakable faith, tireless effort, athak koshish, unbreakable bonding, atut sambandh, and unlimited fun, atha khushi. These, when mixed together in the fire of love, give us a recipe of positive parenting. So, unshakable faith in the self, in the kids, in life, and in God. Faith is such a key ingredient that, irrespective of whatever is coming forward to me in life, never lose that faith that life is trying to get me, is trying to put me down. No matter how much I try, life keeps pushing. If I can just maintain this faith that no, life is just sending me situations to settle my past, my own karma, and is also preparing me to become stronger. There were certain things that were lacking in me, and I can use this situation to actually become a stronger person. Never doubt your parenting skills. Even if you feel in the past you've not really been that great, you could have done more, great. Realization is the biggest thing. Now is the moment to start there. If we keep thinking about reminiscing over the past, what we could have done and why we didn't do, we will never do what needs to be done now. And we are losing many valuable moments where we could have actually done. because regrets and guilt and repentance takes away the energy of the soul. So maintain this faith in yourself, and even if your child is having challenging behaviors or is not cooperating with you or is going through tough situations, maintain faith that life is kind in its own way, will get the child out of every misery and trouble. Continue to use God as your support. Really, in these days, the kind of challenges we all are facing are very, very dark. You need the Almighty Authority's help and His guidance to come out of these situations. And tireless effort also is possible only when you have full faith. The moment you say, "This is too much, I don't have any hope," there is no way you will have the courage to make any effort. So, effort is possible only when we maintain faith. That is why faith becomes a very, very important ingredient that generates the tireless effort. For me, this is something that I've been practicing all of these things that we are talking about a lot, not just in parenting, but everywhere. I've been trying to use this. Why am I losing faith in myself? Even when I keep making the same mistakes, I said, no, life is all about being a student. I have to make effort. He is with me, He's the best teacher, He will guide me. So, continuing without effort, there are no fruits, there are no results. It's a fact. So, karma, till I don't do, I will not get any result. So, I have to tirelessly keep trying and maintain faith that a child and a parent's bond is unbreakable. Nothing can break it, no matter what kind of disputes or conflicts or problems are coming. If the parent maintains this faith that end of the day we are meant to be together, we will be together, all the differences will resolve in time. Faith is really, it will move mountains. It's such an underutilized power. It does miracles. It's the only one that will drive courage, strength. It will also derive patience. It will also emerge in us lot of enthusiasm. When you don't have any faith, there is no hope, there is no enthusiasm. Faith means maintaining hope. Hope means you are enthusiastic. Enthusiastic means you are having fun. So, unlimited fun is also very, whenever you feel heavy as a parent, right? Whether you're doing chores or whether you're doing office work or whether you're working tirelessly with a child who's giving you a lot of difficulties or is going through difficulties, check and change. Whether listen to a funny song, inspiring song, change your mood. Without having fun, you will make a lot of mistakes, and then mistakes lead to repentance. So having fun is very, very critical for the soul, otherwise its energy starts draining. So, for us to be grounded and connected to our spiritual powers is critical. If I want to come out of adverse situations, then I need to be grounded. And spirituality is not just theoretical. So, we are discussing a lot of things in these classes in the parenting series. But if you take out the time to go deeper into it, write down the points you want to implement in your parenting style, make the changes immediately. Every week, practice a new parenting technique that you want to apply, then that deposits huge amount of power in the soul. Otherwise it's just theoretical, and theoretical does not stay inside the soul for too long. It evaporates very quickly. But the moment you have thought about it deeply and you're bringing it into practice, it goes and becomes part of your subconscious, registers as a power. So we are not trying to gain more power or something. It's really we are connecting to our real self, our core self, We are a being of power. We are spiritual beings. And when we don't think of ourselves just as the body or a parent only, but as a soul, the soul who is peaceful, the soul who is powerful, who's loving and happy, we are a child of God. When we think of ourselves like that, all kinds of powers, clarity of the mind, ability to make the right decisions come emerge in us. That's the only way to come out of the adverse situations. So daily meditation practice, daily listening to something positive, taking out the time throughout the day to practice silence for few seconds. These are things to stay connected to our inner core or remain grounded. So when we are in this really, just kind of going through all the different phases of kids, and many parents have, a colic baby or a baby who cries a lot in the night, won't sleep, in general cries, or has some kind of medical challenges. For such a parent, if I am only creating sadness, that why me or why my child, what is wrong, everybody else's child seem to be smiling, they seem to be happy, my child is in so much trouble, what will happen to my child, very worried or annoyed that why did I get such a difficult child, I can't even sleep for a minute, this is too much, I don't deserve such kind of a child, what did I ever do to deserve such kind of a child. We feel that this kind of pity, self pity, is kind of compassion and self love, and many times we will go and share these kind of stories with our friends and relatives, maybe even our parents. We are actually loading them up with unnecessary burden. Our parents are unnecessarily getting burdened. They can't do much. They can't do much being far away or not being with us, and really in their old age, do we want to burden them more? And even our friends, when we are sharing, what is now happening is they're also creating a lot of sorry and sympathetic emotions for me. Every time they think about me, now they'll go and create a lot of sorry state about me and my child. So it's adding to my fuel of negativity. So this is really not self compassion. Self pity is always very, very harmful. It causes me to lose my spiritual powers. So I need to really remember that, I need to have fun while parenting. Yes, it is going to require a lot of effort from my side because the child is going through some health issues or some discomfort. When we use knowledge to understand why the child is going through a lot of these agony, you will understand that the child that you have now is a soul that left body recently and maybe had a turbulent past, a difficult past. And a lot of the child's smiles and tears are all kind of, at least for the first 2 years, they are related to the child's past. So when we understand what is going on and stop challenging, why the child is like this or why I have to deal with it, or when will the child be okay, what will happen, these all questions, when you look at everything with a spiritual angle, it gives you a lot of inner calmness. Doesn't mean that I would not go and take the child to the doctor if needed or have regular checkups. Absolutely not. Yes, we have to do whatever we can to take care of the body, but we also need to understand the emotions of the soul. It really helps in being a better parent when we understand things in a spiritual dimension. That helps us in maintaining our calm. So, as a parent, we have signed up for extra work, extra chores, extra responsibilities. It's a given. So, we have to keep reminding ourselves that why are we complaining? Parent means slightly more responsibilities, but they come with lot of rewards of raising a well balanced child. So when we are able to make tireless effort with unlimited fun, maintain our calm and stability, that only my spiritual powers, my peace will calm down the child. My peace will show me the right way. I need to maintain faith that all will be well. And that is when patience arises in us and we start having fun again. So, bottom line is all kinds of situations will come. The situations will not consume a person who is spiritually ignited, spiritually awakened. They are not using just the two physical eyes to understand life anymore. They're using a much more deeper, far sighted eyes and broad intellect to understand every dimension. Every moment I need to make this decision that I need to maintain faith and calm. That's the only way to get out of it. And avoid the need to talk to hundreds of people and get advices as much as you can. We then also see during toddler phase a lot of attention seeking behavior. I have seen kids literally like this in shopping malls or in grocery stores or in front of relatives or friends, just literally throwing themselves down and constantly wanting attention. You say one thing, they will say a different thing. Many times, here again, parents start crying, why me? Or they feel very, very ashamed. They lose faith in themselves and say, I've been such a bad parent. Look, everybody must be laughing that I didn't know how to mentor my child. And why is this child giving me such a hard time? And maybe we start yelling at the child or really, cursing them or cursing our luck and so on. But we need to remember whenever, especially less than 5-year old, when they are really becoming so loud, there could be multiple reasons, but one is to check, have I spent quality time with my child? When they don't get that in real love, that deep, genuine love from a parent, then a child, for not feeling that security, not getting that attention and love, will do anything to get the attention. And the child doesn't understand the difference between parents, really kind of angry versus loving attention. Unfortunately, in the beginning, they feel at least the parent is talking. Even if they're yelling, they like that. At least they're looking at me, they're giving some time to me. So many times when you catch your child doing this, it's a aha moment to say, oh my gosh, did I really spend time with my child or not? So whenever we find a time, and this quality time really means where I'm not lecturing, where I'm not educating, where I'm not again giving instructions, but literally just having fun, letting the child define what that fun time will look like. That is what becomes the quality time. And as this toddlerhood continues, there is a lot of tantrums from the child, and some of it could also be manipulation. Some of it could be that they're not getting that real attention, and some of it could be they're really testing the parents to see, how do I get my way around? How do I boss the parent around instead of the parent bossing me around? So they literally use yelling, tantrums, and they know when the parent is on the phone or is on the work, on the laptop, they know that right now if I come and bother, right now if I come and throw a tantrum, the parents will oblige. So we need to really understand each of these things and really make some changes. So when parents become, literally the subjects and the child has become the king, It's like, oh my gosh, whatever you tell me, because I can't deal with your tantrums and cries. We had a family visiting us, and literally the child, every time they had to get the child to do something, they would say, okay, if you want, we'll get you some iPad time if you will do this, this, and this. If you will come to this restaurant, this a child would throw a tantrum that, no, I get to choose the restaurant, you have to go here. And the parents would then say, hey, we will order you a gift from Amazon if you come here. So unknowingly, just to have some kind of easy life, impatience, we tend to give unnecessary love, unnecessary gifts, unnecessary attention. So when love is given without any law, without any discipline, then that love becomes very, very damaging to the child's upbringing. It will end up making the child a spoiled brat, the one who has never been taught what is right and what is wrong. Instead, has been spoiled with unnecessary gifts, undeserving gifts, too many gifts, expensive gifts. And one of the top reasons, it is really not love, it is selfishness. And what is that selfishness? I don't want to deal with this child. I want to have my phone time. I want to have my TV time. I want to have my sleep time. So, yes, child, here, do whatever you want. Or impatience. I can't deal with this. I don't want to handle. Many parents feed their kids in front of TV or give them a phone or whatever so that they can feed them the vegetables and things like that. Again, I don't have the patience to teach how the child should eat a well balanced meal. So lot of it is really falling on the parent. These kind of things lead to all kinds of problems and behavioral issues in the child. So when these tantrums become bigger and bigger in teenage phase, it takes a really ugly form where they'll become very, very rude and mean towards the parent. And some of it also could be related to attachment. So maybe the teachers and some of our friends and relatives have come and told that, hey, your child is being extremely mischievous or is very, very clumsy and will not clean up, is extremely rude. But I am too attached. My child, best child. On top of it, there is this thing that my upbringing obviously has to be the best one. My child is perfect. So what? Everyone has few weaknesses. My child also has few. So I forgive and ignore everything, even though many people are telling me. I continue to be on my child's side. This is called impure love. Love which is not empowering the child, which is not making the child stronger, a better citizen. Such a love is really a blind love, a love that actually damages the child. So, in Brahma Kumaris, we are taught it is very, very important to use the spiritual eyes of laws to make sure that your love will actually bring about positive transformation in the child, will not cause weaknesses to remain in the child. And when we let go of our attachments to phones, gadgets, the sleep and everything, yes, it does require tireless effort. But if we make, especially if you have kids which are less than 5 years or old, this time if we put in some effort to bring about some laws, and these laws are not where we are being extremely strict and just yelling at the kids, but it's really just little bit of balance between love and law. This little bit of first 5 years of effort will make your teenage years so easy. In fact, the rest of the parenting will become very easy if we spend some time in the first 5 years. Even later is fine. It's never too late, is what I feel. But the first 5 years are critical where you can implement these kinds of balances. Many parents also tend to micromanage their kids a lot. They're constantly super involved in everything. They don't trust the child to do anything right. They keep an eye on every little minor detail of the child. Such a child also ends up being a rebellion. When you are giving too much of feedback and saying no to a lot of different things, constantly lecturing the child. This is kind of coming more towards the teenage phase, but before that, even 5 plus to 10, when you are constantly giving feedback and telling them that you are right and they are wrong, everything they bring up, you keep saying no, 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 then this is also something where there is an imbalance, where you are giving too many laws, but there is not at all much of love. And one after the other, we are only imposing various different types of laws in the child's life. And such kinds of laws cause the child's confidence or their pure pride to be bruised. And this is indeed our own ego that I am the parent, you're supposed to do what I am telling you. I am more wise, I am elder, you are supposed to listen to me. This is really the old parenting style. We all know in today's world, the kids kind of want to be treated as equal. So, if we realize the current time and make the amends to change our behavior, then everything becomes easier, faster. Sorry, let me just make sure that, let me share the screen again. And this ego could be in many could show up in many different ways. It could be in education, decisions related to education, related to friends, related to health, many different aspects on how they are keeping their room, everything. When there is lot of laws or disciplines and love is not as much, that also causes an imbalance. And this imbalance causes lot of ego battles, the power struggles that we talk about. And when parent keeps saying no, no, no to many things, the child also learns it and they start reciprocating the same energy by saying no, no, and no. So it's good to take a step back and check if our laws are becoming too strict, or do we have too many laws. So laws are important, but when they are implemented without any love, or when there are too many laws, that is when the conflict with the child starts. And in the beginning, the first 5 years, possible that we had too many laws. And at that moment, the child really doesn't have so much of a ability to be independent and fight back or speak up. They will just follow. Then 5 to 10, that wanting to become independent, that desire becomes very strong in the child. And when that desire emerges to be independent, then they fight back with that same energy. They start rejecting every law that has been imposed on the child. um, and literally the stage is one. It has to be you or your child who is going to win. And when both the parent and the child are fighting for that attention, that I am right, you need to listen to me, my decision needs to go forward. And it's a very ugly show for the entire family and the people who know this family. So it's every day, I highly recommend you all to spend some time and see, was there a balance between law and love? So we are taught in Brahma Kumaris, give love lawfully and apply law lovefully. So there, शिक्षा में प्रेम भरा हो and प्यार में शिक्षा भरी हो. So it's literally, that was the Hindi translation for that. So your love should always have a component of law in it. So even before I'm giving love, let me just quickly check that this will still benefit my child in the long run. It will bring benefits. So even if I'm giving a candy or a dessert to the child, I should have a quick check. Why did I do this? What is the reason behind it? And when you do few checks like that, after some time it becomes very automatic, very easy. You know what is the right decision. You will automatically know the balance between love and law, and you don't need to do so many checks. But in the beginning, yes, I'm giving this candy or this dessert to the child because they've been good, and I don't want them to be so on this one side of the health that they don't get to enjoy. And then when later they become independent, then all they'll want is dessert. So at every point, I'm thinking, what is the law behind this love? And as I'm applying and imposing laws, check if your heart is warm and gentle when you're applying the law. If the heart is filled with ego, if your mind is filled with the ego, then the heart will be cold, where you are always thinking, I am right, the child needs to listen to me, this law is very important, whether it is related to cleanliness or food or study, whatever that might be. Where there is coldness in applying laws, it again causes a lot of conflicts. As parents, we always have to look in the best interest of the child, even if it means I have to bend. That is, my ego is getting bruised, so let it be. For me, the biggest thing is the child should be raised in the most empowering manner, positive manner. So if I have to compromise on my ego, on my decision, on my point, it is actually okay. So, pretty much these were some of the things I wanted to talk about in today's class. We will continue some of these conversations as we start seeing, a lot of rude behaviors, maybe from teenagers or maybe even close to 10-year-old kids behaving very rudely, always saying no, fighting back, hitting back, and things like that. So we will continue that conversation in next class about that. But wanted to open it up to questions and see if you had any questions before I keep talking more about these things. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask the questions. You can also type your questions on the Q&A if you have any. Yeah, so parenting style is different. Parenting style here is different, and your in-laws have a different style. Most likely their style is a lot more loving and accommodating, and yours is slightly different. Um, See, it's for me one of the things, the beauty of all of these things is when we understand that the child needs every part of their every part of the emotions. So when they are receiving little bit of from the suppose from the father, they're receiving little bit of laws and strictness or toughness, where their father is pushing to play more or do more hard work, and maybe from the grandparents they're receiving too much of gentleness and forgiveness and things like that. It is actually okay to have all of that balance. Indeed, it becomes slightly a problem when you are saying something and the other person is doing exact opposite or is cutting you off. That is when I think you need to take some time out and talk either to your in-laws or to your partner and let them know that, hey, I'm supportive of your style, but when I kind of took the lead and made certain decisions, I would appreciate if you support me or give why you made that particular kind of the decision, right? So instead of starting another conflict with your in-laws or with your partner, if you can continue to maintain this faith that in-laws also are looking for the best in their child, in their grandchild. They want the best. And that you have a different angle and a reason. Can you take out the time to explain it to them? Same thing with your partner. Partner also wants the best for the child. So when we maintain that vision and faith, it actually helps in them understanding it. How do you show unconditional love when your adult child hits you? Yes, this is indeed quite bit harsh when your own child has become violent, and is showing the violence at you. Wherever possible, indeed, we have to. Physical violence, indeed, is not something that we should be tolerating in whatever manner. We should certainly protect, move away from there, let them know that this is absolutely not okay at all. But one of the things that takes away love from us is when we think that the behavior is what is the child's definition. I mean, the behavior is defining who the child is. And if the behavior is violent, means the child is violent, and that is why is not deserving of my love. And when we go a bit deeper to understand the reason behind the behavior of the child, and maybe we are not even responsible for that behavior, or maybe at least in this lifetime we are not able to see the reason for that behavior. But the child who is expressing so much violence is going through a very violent inner turmoil inside. Whatever you have inside is how you will express it, right? If you have experienced a lot of violence inside of you, that is how you will express it. If you have love inside of you, you will give love. But if all you have is violence due to a lot of difficulties faced in life, due to feeling of not being loved, whatever that reason might be, that child is just responding. And that is why Brahma Kumari's Raj Yoga meditation, which gives us the introduction of who a soul is. When the soul starts its journey in the spiritual home, nirvana or paramdham, at that point, the child soul is an exact replica of God. There is no violence in soul. Human soul is the most beautiful being when they start their journey. And as time progresses, we come into Dwapar Yug or the Copper Age, and then Kali Yug, which is the Iron Age, the darkest time of the human souls. At that point of the world life cycle, all the human souls have lost their spiritual powers and qualities because of going into multiple cycle of life and death, and in each life facing lot of difficulties. there are many, many negative traits that have accumulated in the soul. So we don't focus on what the soul has become, but we look at the potential of the soul, which is just like God. And when you maintain that faith, that yes, your child is experiencing a lot of violence right now and is expressing violence, but I do maintain, I protect myself, I keep myself away, and yet I maintain that faith that each human soul is beautiful, has become dark due to some valid reasons. Human behavior is, natural behavior is peace, love, and joy. If someone is expressing dark violence at their parents, there is a reason behind it. When we take the time to understand the reason, other person's pain, that's when our pain reduces. Otherwise, we are consumed by our own story. Um, how do you deal with teens who are very aggressive with their siblings? Um, yeah, it teens are teens is a phase where they don't like to be told too much. They don't like to be given any kind of instructions. So finding that quiet time with them is really, really critical. And only when you learn how to be their friend, whether it is that early morning time or whether it is that late night time when you're all as a family having a quiet time, that is the time when you connect and kind of let them know that, hey, you are kind of like, the support system. So, they always say, siblings are the ones that will stay with each other for the longest time, because parents after few decades will pass away, right? And grandparents obviously will also pass away. So your only blood connection, your real family, is your siblings. So sibling connection is very important, and especially if you are the elder sibling, to show them this dimension that literally they would be this angelic parents eventually, right? This godly parents, or whatever you want to define them as, giving them that kind of responsibility that, hey, the sibling will look up to you. When we are not around, you are going to be around for the child. And everything you are doing, they do look up to you more than to us parents. So the key component with teenager is to have that connection of friendship. That is when you can have these kind of conversations, but really correcting them and saying, don't be aggressive, this is not, obviously if they're getting violent physically or very, very rude verbally, yes, you do need to intervene, and create a discipline even for the teenager. But otherwise, it's best not to intervene and have that friendly connection when there is a quiet time. um, any other questions? So, highly do recommend. i- it is. I want to acknowledge that indeed it does take a lot of patience, a lot of calmness to raise kids these days, because it is no more like it used to be in our time or time before that for our parents when they were brought up. It's not like that at all. Every word we say is challenged. So you can't live a life where you are also challenging, right? Where you are challenging and the child is challenging back. That's no way. to have a family life. And spirituality, call it meditation, whatever that might be, that is the only way to really stay connected and maintain. Otherwise, you are like, if you are like during exam, if you want to study and clear that exam, it's not possible. You have to prepare for it, right? So every moment life is throwing some kind of challenge at us, and at that moment, if I want to get ready, I will fail. So everyday meditation enables us to be prepared to be that strong person. Plays a lot with video games. Here, I don't know how much it works, but for us, it was really, we negotiated with our kids. And in the early years, we said no video games. Only on weekends you can play. And weekends also, there was a time limit. And we said whether you want to watch TV, you want to play video game, you want to be on the phone, whatever it is, this is the time slot. Use it as you want. So there is a need for discipline here. And this is something where law is important. And tell them that this is for their eyes, this is for them to remain focused. Video games distract. Um, they will not allow them to concentrate and focus. So there has to be a limit on it. So this is where we need to be that strong parent, but not with the intent of being bossy or controlling, but the pure intent that we are, whatever we are doing is for the love of the child. So yes, disciplining is important here. Any other one last question is what we can take. If you have any follow-up questions or any additional questions. All right, we can spend our last few minutes in meditation. I maintain faith in you, life, even when you are showing me the darkest scene, a bitter scene. I refuse to give up on you. And I refuse to give up on myself. I am the Master Almighty Authority, a being of peace, love, joy, wisdom, and powers. Yes, I might not have all the answers. Yes, I might not have even the strength. But God is on my side. He is especially on my side when I'm going through a tough phase. I need to maintain faith. God's support is silent. And when I maintain faith and remain silent, I will be able to clearly see God's and life's plan on why this situation has come and how it is going to benefit me. So, my dear life, I shall never give up on you. I shall never give up on myself as a parent. And I shall never give up on my child's bright future. With my faith and God's faith in me, I will invite a calm and beautiful future. I'm a divine being, a beautiful, unique, and special being that can handle life gracefully. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Hope you have a peaceful week ahead, and we'll see you again next week. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti, everyone.